haunting stories from a ghost town playground. They say no children live in Raven Hollow anymore, but if you walk by the old playground at midnight, you'll still hear them laughing. I found Raven Hollow by mistake. I was driving through some forgotten back roads in an old rental, trying to shortcut my way to the next town after my conference ran late. My GPS started glitching near a stretch of forest. Signal dropped, screen froze, and before I knew it, I was on a cracked asphalt road with no signs, no lights, just trees and shadows for miles. Then I saw it. A crooked wooden sign barely hanging onto a rusted post. Welcome to Raven Hollow. Half the letters were faded. I figured I'd just pull through, find a gas station, maybe a diner. But this place, it wasn't like any town I'd ever seen. The houses were old. Not just old, dead. Boarded windows, collapsed porches, roofs caving in like brittle skulls. Driveways full of weeds and silence. It was the kind of place you'd expect to see in a dream you don't want to remember. But then there was the playground. In the middle of all that decay stood this perfect, bright, untouched playground. That was the first sign something was off. The swing sets were untouched by rust, paint as fresh as if it had dried yesterday. The slide gleamed silver under the fading sun. Red and blue monkey bars stood proudly while everything else in town fell apart. The ground beneath was clean, wood chips perfectly arranged like someone had swept them. Even stranger, the sidewalk was lined with chalk drawings, happy stick figures holding hands, smiling suns, lopsided hearts. Everything looked wrong, too perfect. I parked without thinking. Just a quick look, I told myself. 5 minutes, maybe snap a photo, post it later with some sarcastic caption. But I shouldn't have. The moment I stepped through the iron gate, I heard it. A low creaking from the swings, just one, moving in slow, steady rhythm. No wind, no reason. I scanned the area, nothing but still air and the low groan of chains. I moved to the edge of the sandbox and sat, watching, trying to convince myself it was just a breeze. But then the seesaw shifted, tipped down slowly, then back up. No one was on it. I froze, heartbeat suddenly louder in my ears. I told myself it was gravity, maybe something uneven in the wood. I even let out a nervous laugh, just to hear something human. Then came the giggle. Software close. Unmistakably a child's laugh, carried on air that suddenly felt too cold for the season. I turned my head toward the tunnel slide. "Hello?" I called out, voice barely louder than a whisper. Nothing. I walked over, legs heavy. Each footstep seemed to echo. I bent down and looked inside. Empty. But the air, it was freezing. Not cool. Freezing. Like the inside of a walk-in freezer. My breath came out in a visible puff. When I stood back up, something caught my eye. Footprints. In the sandbox where I'd just been sitting, small prints. Dozens of them. Barefoot, too small to be adult. They circled the area, overlapping, like a crowd of kids had been playing right there, only moments before. But there hadn't been anyone. I was sure of it. I backed up, throat tight, every inch of me screaming to leave. Then I heard the metallic rattle, the carousel. It started to spin, slowly at first, then faster. The chains on the swings danced as if someone invisible had leapt from seat to seat, and that's when the chalk drawings began to change. I looked down and saw them smearing, shifting. The smiling faces stretched into grimaces. The stick figures fell apart. Flowers became black X's. And right in the center of it all, a message began to form in the chalk dust. Stay. Then I heard them, all at once. Laughter, whispers, sobs, children, all around me. Some were right behind me. I could feel the breath on my neck. I spun around. Nothing. Just the dead stillness. The rustle of leaves. The cold. I ran. I don't remember reaching the gate, but I heard it slam behind me, so loud and sharp it sounded like a scream. I fumbled into my car, shaking hands, barely turning the key. I didn't look back. I didn't stop driving until the glow of a gas station broke through the dark 2 hours later. The clerk saw me stumble in, face pale, shirt clinging to sweat. He asked if I was okay. I told him what I saw. He didn't look surprised. Yeah, he said, tourists still find their way there. Locals don't go near it. Why not? I asked, voice cracking. He didn't blink. Because those children don't want a playmate. They want someone who'll never leave. Someone like you. Forever.